Good morning, everyone. So, okay, so most of you have the Soyong book with you, right? Uh, from today until the last day, I thought that we will start, with the lineage prayer. It's in the Chinesic. In the Chinesic, the very first one is the short lineage, Dorje Changchen Telo Naro. We are going to sing that together. And then at the end of that, we will chant Karmapa Cheno for a while. And then we will sit in meditation for a while. Because this, lineage prayer is the heart of the Guru Yoga. So we are doing Guru Yoga together. All we need to do is that we need to really, visualize the lineage tree. It is exactly same as the refuge tree, except at this time, then this would be, well, it's actually here. We are surrounded by them. So if you just look up all around you, they're all there. Now, I'm very sure that, most of you know, the Guru Yoga practice. So we will be chanting Kamapa Cheno. In this case, then it does not have to be a very specific Kamapa, number 1, number 2, number 3, or 6, or 7. It doesn't have to be that way. In general also, it doesn't have to be number-wise. Kamapa number 1, Kamapa number 2, like first, second, third, fourth, 8, 9. Doesn't have to be that. But I'm thinking that since we are learning together the Mahamudra of Tilopa, so in this case, we will try to see, Kamapa and Tilopa inseparable. In the middle, usually there is Dorje Chang is in the middle. As we all know that Dorje Chang, the Vajradhara, is in the middle. But when we do Guru Yoga, then that Dorje Chang can be seen as the Guru himself. In this case, then Telopa, can be experienced as the Vajradhara himself. And then we'll receive the blessings of the body, speech, and mind, as we all know that with the, it's okay if you think of the lights or if you don't think of the lights, it's all good. Really, it's just, a symbolic thing. From the 3 locations, Om, Ah, Hong, and all these white, red, and blue lights, those are, those are, if you could do it precisely, maybe it's very good. Okay, it's good. But if not, it's not that you are doing something wrong. So don't worry about those things. Don't, be. In my thinking, I guess it's not really my thinking, but I keep saying my thinking. The less, in Tibetan we have a word called tuche. Sometimes it becomes too elaborated, like, 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, this light, that light, Om and Ah and Hum. So it's very elaborated. Somehow that from the meditational point of view, that may be a distraction, correct? It may, so from the meditational point of view, if it is all about being in a meditative state of the mind, one may not need that much of an elaboration, so to speak. If you could just straightly experience, what you are to experience, then that is more than enough. So, Teme, we call it Teme, less conceptualization, and more conceptualization. I actually it is true that sometimes it becomes a little bit too elaborated, extensive. Perhaps then the essence may be somehow lost in that because everything's so very fancy. So we don't want that, correct? Generally also when you meditate, don't worry so much about these, the elaborated aspect of the meditation. Like yesterday, Kamapa was talking about Chinesic, when we, or any Yidam for that matter, we have so many thrones actually, and then so many moons and so many discs, moon disc, this, that disc, this, compound disc. Sound is very confusing, it's very true. That's elaborated point of view, so to speak. It has its own meaning. I'm not going to go into detail of that. It's actually, okay, since I already spoke about it, from the, it's not that I know a lot about Vajrayana, but I have to say Vajrayana for the sake of saying it. Point of view, we're trying to, what we are really trying to do is that we are trying to dismantle every single mundane experience. Am I right? That's what we are trying to do. We don't want to be we. So there is this very instant, let's say, transformation of that. We are dissolving, we are dismantling the mundane thoughts, mundane thought process, and mundane appearance. In a moment, then we experience supramundane. Is the word I found. I actually don't know the meaning very well, but I'm just saying it like I'm, all this other English stuff. Maybe it doesn't mean anything, but it says supramundane. In short, actually, there is this word in Vajrayana, correct? In Tibetan, we call Tangnang, Tagpikanawa. I like it very much, and I try to do that for the sake of the blessings. Like Kamapa said yesterday, and I also said that many times, it's not that I can truly experience some, pure view, but I keep up my devotion. I try to keep up my devotion, and I try to really, have this confidence that, I'm in state of a pure view, actually. We call Tangnang. It's about that. What I'm saying is that, for example, why do you think you need another form when you actually have a physical form? Then why do you want to have this 8 or 1,000 arms, 1,000 eyes? I mean, how you're going to walk that, Or like Sambhogakaya form, for example, we talk about the Sambhogakaya form. That is spoken from the, in simple ways, I'm thinking, I may be wrong, thinking that as of now, I'm this ordinary being. I have all the emotions. I have this physical body, which is full of all sickness. There's nothing good about the body in reality at all, actually. But nonetheless, what I'm supposed to do, I got it, so until I die, I can't really escape it. I mean, you can also not escape it, That's why we are always sick. Mind can't really get sick, but we're always sick. Aging is from the point of view of body, not from the point of view of the mind, as we all say that. Okay, I have to try to be on the track because I lose the track very often. My thought process. So the Taknang, actually, the thinking that you are your guru, not from a very literal or physical point of view, okay? But from the point of, it does not mean you want to look like Karmapa or you want to look like Chinese. It doesn't mean that. It just means that everything I own is not a good stuff. It's everything from the inside to the outside is source of suffering. You must know that. Your body 100% is source of suffering. And your mind, without any doubt, it is the mother of all the suffering actually. The emotions, correct? Thoughts. So here what we're doing is that we are really trying to rise above this. It's simply about rising above it. And then therefore, when you say, let's say the point is you gain a new body, new mind, this is what we are saying, a new speech. All of which are free of emotions, free of contaminations, therefore free of aging, sickness, birth, death, samsara. And now you understand that. It's actually spoken from that point of view. So anyhow, now coming back to the Guru Yoga. So therefore, we take the form of the Guru, we take the form of the Yidam, the body, the speech, and the mind. It's not a very literal. I cannot have the body and speech of, the Guru, actually. How can I have that? How can my mind be exchanged with the mind of another person? It's impossible, so to speak. But it's all very good method, actually. Like we say, the Vajrayana. Of course, in Buddhism, there are so many, profound methods, skillful means for this life, for enlightenment, for liberation. Without any doubt, there are so many skillful means. So this is also a skillful mean, this meditation, like the Kerim and the Dzogrim that I was talking about. It's all included within that, correct? So when we are doing the Guru Yoga, all we need to know is that we are really want to have this sense that we are receiving the blessings of the body and speech and mind of the gurus, not just guru, of the lineage actually, all the way from the Vajrayana up until present time. In Tibetan, usually we say Khenpo Sum. I like that very much. It's about that, So what we are really trying to experience is that Khenpo is the omniscient wisdom, the wisdom. Tsewa is the bodhicitta. Nyopa is the potential. Khenpo Nusum. We need that for the sake of the activity. Anyhow, so most of you know what it's all about. Okay. Right. Okay, so now we will do the short lineage prayer. We are going to sing it. Okay. If you can, it's actually on page 97. If you have the Ngondo book. Dorje chanche te loya nae ro ta mar pa mi lai chu je ga tu soi she kyai kun che karama ya pa che je chuan je ju pa en ze nam dang de ta ya ca ya so pa den do pa sa lai cha gya che lai ngai nye pi nhà miền trung kia tạc bôi cái gì lại so van đế so cái la Jia ban zin no nam tarai chin je lo Shen lo gom jie kang parai song pai xin Se no roi kun lai chai xian me pa dong Se de de tai che pe gom chen la Ye korai xian pa me parai ge gom che go warai song pai xin me nga ter go je pe la ma Gyön do yo so wa yan de pe gom chen la Che mi mi ge ke warai chen je Ye me gom che ngui je song pai xin Khang charaya to pe ngo so ma Mai chue te karan je pe gom chen la Gom chaya lo dan da warai chin je Tôi ngô voi chư cơ song pai xin Chì rè ya ma ye chì rè ya char va ya la Ma ga ya ro para char ve gom chen Korende yer me tok parai chen je loy. Kia vai kun do yang da la ma dan. Da me chu je pe la ji. Ta lam che yuen ten ra zo Dor je chan ke kong pang Nyoro ya toi sho Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma pai che no Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma pai chen Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma pai chen Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma pai chen Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma pai ke noi Karma karma pai no karma pai no karma pai no karma pai no pai no karma 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 vachino 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 karma karma vachino karma vachino karma vachino karma pai no Now we will sing the Say Refuge and Bodhicitta, which is in page 103, if you have the book. Sangye cho dan so je cho nam lai chang cho par do ya dan ne kyo su e chi da ge jim de ge be se nam chi do la pen ra ya sangye do pa re sho Sangye chö daya tsokye chö nam la chang chö par toya dane kya su chi da ge gom de ge pe se nam chi do la pen ya sangye do pa re sho Sangye chö daya tsokye chö nam la chang choya par toya dane kya su chi da ge gom de ge pe se nam chi do la pen jira sangye do pa re sho Simjaya Tamjaya Devaya Dan Devi Gyodaya Dembara Chur Dunga Dan Dunga Ki Gyodaya Tawara Chur Dungala Mebe Devaya Tambaya Dan Mindal Varech Nirya Chaudan Yetan Talvaya Tanyoya Chemboya La Nebara Churaya Chi Damjaya Devaya Dan Devi Gyodaya Dembara Churji Dungal Dan Taware Chuje Dungala Mebe Devaya Tambaya Dan Minda Vare Nirya Chaudan Yetan Talvaya Tanyoya Chemboya Shuraya Je Simjaya Damjaya Devaya Dan Devi Gyodaya Dembara Dunga dan dunga ge jodaya tawara churje dunga la mebe dewa Nyere chadan nyedan talwe tanyam chenpo la nebara churoi chi Palden tsawe lama rinpoche dagi kiwo peden dena ju kaden chenpo gune jeson de kusong toje ngudu tsado so Palden dorje changwa reki chabda lama karma pa chenko kunje juni seje panjo yidang dorje nanjurma chinle kunje chepo chujong perje chamdala nanjur kupe tsechi nduto dalme toje kyongwa renze All right. Okay. Okay, doc. Tucheshira. Chepegona. There was something I wanted to share. Right. So, you know, yesterday I mentioned about different types of mudra related to the Mahamudra. I want to mention them again so that you could remember. There are 4 or 5 of them. There are different versions. Let's see how many we can count. The first one was in Tibet it's called Chöchi Chagya, which is Dharma Mudra. Then the second one is in Tibetan we call Tamsik Chagya. That would be then Samaya Mudra. The third one in Tibetan we call it Lechi Chagya, which means Karma Mudra. And fifth one, Yeja or Yishichigya, which means Jnana Karma. Jnana Mudra. And then the Mahamudra. Okay. Let's see. Well, connected to the empowerment, if I understand it correctly. When we receive empowerment, then we know there are 4 kinds of empowerment. But the 4th empowerment, which is most important, generally, so anyhow, when we receive them, then, we are given the, we are given the direct access to the true nature of the mind, And this is to say that as soon as we receive the empowerment, and then when 4 kinds of bliss is experienced through the 4 kinds of empowerment, and in the very end, what appears is the very naked true nature of the mind, the luminous nature of the mind, the Vajradhara state of our own true nature of the mind. In another word, it basically means that our own inherent Buddha nature mind has now fully manifested, actually. From sentient being, on the spot, now I have experienced my Buddhahood. So I no longer, am a sentient being, so to speak. So it happens on the spot. So this, what I mentioned, are different kinds of method. So like yesterday, I said, when we say ka, ju, pa, then ka actually are the teachings. Those teachings are mainly then the teachings, of course, the Mahamudra, but it is more about the 6 yogas of Naropa. It's known as 6 yogas of Naropa or Dharma of Naropa. In Tibetan, we call Chötuk, which actually means 6 dharmas of Naropa, which we know that actually those are the 6 different lineage that Tilopa received from his human masters, those 4 kind of, from the 4 directions of the India, which I mentioned yesterday. So yes, then these are the different aspects of the Vajrayana Mahamudra or Vajrayana path aspect. Just reminding you again, generally speaking, what we are really doing is that we are accumulating the dharmic seeds, correct? Seed of the Vajrayana teaching, seed of the Mahayana teaching, seed of the Hinayana teaching for the sake of saying it. In short, we are really, really planting all those seeds, and they're very, very important. Without the seed, there will be no fruition. It's as simple as that. But the ground of all of that seed, like let's say you have a seed, but you also need a field to plant them, correct? Just because you have all the seed is not enough. You need a proper, suitable land, right? No, that's also not enough. You also need very, very suitable, conditions. When all these things comes together, when the cause and conditions comes together, then what you will have a very, very profound harvest. It's exactly same like this. We are harvesting the Buddhahood. We have the seed. It's always been there. All the teachings, all the empowerment from the Hinayana to the Mahayana to the Vajrayana. There is no single thing that we do not need. Please, you have to remember that. Do not think that this is Vajrayana, Hinayana stuff. We don't need it because I'm Mahayana or Vajrayana. Like I was saying yesterday, that is a very, very wrong view. It may really destroy whatever little bit of good karma you may have, actually. So we do not want to have that kind of concept at all. Anyways, so therefore, as long as we have these seeds, these are the, let's say, the ground. Yesterday I said in Tibetan we have something called pakcha, samskara. I think it is samskara, I'm not exactly sure. In English we could say mental habitual tendencies or mental habitual patterns, pakcha. Here we are talking about the, dharmic seeds, the Vajrayana mental habitual seeds. In order to experience Vajrayana realization, you must have that Vajrayana mental habitual patterns. How are you gonna understand, gonna gain any understanding, any realization without the seed? Correct? You need the seed. For example, if I want, the realization of the true nature of the mind, I need that seed. Likewise, if I really, it is must. Emptiness is must. Bodhicitta is must. And renunciation is must. You can't leave out any one of them, because if you left out any one of them, your path is incomplete. That's why we need Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana, all of them. Without that, there is no enlightenment. So it's about that, the planting of the seed. And at the same time, I'm reminding us again and again, I have said this yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday, me being this common person with all these, common emotions, there's a very high possibility that I may destroy those very precious seeds in me. One of the, let's say, one of the main emotion we can say that can destroy that is wrong view, actually. Lokta, right? Wrong view. Wrong view in a sec will destroy the accumulation of merit of kalpas, as we say it. For example, in Bodhicharya Avatara, this line is very, very famous. So many of you may have already heard this many times. Like it says, experiencing a very strong anger in that very instant, then it has the potential to destroy the accumulation of merit of many, many lifetimes or kalpas, And that is actually, if that anger is directed to a very special being, here it says bodhisattva, to a very special being, to a bodhisattva, to an enlightened being, things like that. And the wrong view, anger and wrong view are the two main emotions that always is very most destructive, I would say. Even in our life, we know that, right? Anger and wrong view. We could say misunderstanding, but wrong view is not only a misunderstanding, actually. It is something that you believe in. But in life, I would say misunderstanding or doubt. But there are two kinds of doubt. That's why I didn't say doubt. Wrong kind of doubt, I should say. Wrong doubt. In our life, when you really think of that, emotions are very destructive, correct? Most of them. And from them, of course, the one that's very obvious is the anger, jealousy, pride. Those are very obvious, But they are all linked to the anger, actually. All of them, they are different forms of anger, so to say. Attachment is not very obvious, but attachment is also another very destructive emotion. All emotions are very destructive. It's a very, that's why we call them disturbing emotions. It's not just only disturbing, they are very destructive, actually. I think destructive because it really destroys the happiness, the joy, mental peace, even the mental, let's say, any kind of right view you may have. These emotions, they really destroy that. We know that. I don't have to really say it to all of us, but we know this. I'm saying this because, so I lost the track of my thought, actually. Yeah, so therefore we need to save, these precious dharmic seeds of all kinds of seeds from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. If you did that, then there definitely will be a result of that. Next life is not that far away, actually. We think, oh, it's very, very far away. Actually, it's not true. Next life is much closer than we would like to believe, actually, so to speak. It's just a matter of dying, so to speak. Anyways, so I guess my point is that oftentimes people ask me, that I've been practicing this and that long and I don't see any result. That's actually not true. Like I'm saying that you have all this precious, priceless wisdom, knowledge, seed of that within you that cannot be bought. However rich you may be, you can't buy that actually at all. So we are very, very rich from that point of view. You have that treasure that will manifest as Buddhahood for you, for other, that will become the source of timeless benefit for you, for other. It's within us, right here, right now, in this very moment. That actually is called your mind. In another word, we can say is the Buddha nature mind. We must know that. Saraha says that he refers to our mind as, wish fulfilling jewel, for example, the treasure. It is the treasure from that point of view. Like I was saying earlier on, the Buddhahood is born from there. All the good qualities are born from there. So therefore, we need to protect that. You want to protect your compassion, your kindness, your wisdom, That is what is going to guide you, okay? Really, not a person. Your protection, your refuge is your own inner quality that you have. All these, dharmic seeds. That's your refuge. That's what you are going to take refuge in. This is the true sense of the refuge. You must depend on that. You must trust in that. And you must always, guard that actually. So that will then become the true meaning of the refuge, taking refuge. It's not so much of taking refuge in somebody else. That's not the meaning of the refuge in general at all. So you see that the whole Uttara Tantra Shastra is actually about refuge. Anyway, Khenpo Chocho will tell you that, but it is about that. We need to know that, okay? We really, really need some. Okay, early on, okay. So again, I'm losing my track. The reason I brought it up is many people, okay, I said that before, and yesterday also come up and mentioned that the result of our practice will not be like an instant noodle at all, or an instant coffee. We think it like this: you do it now, you want that result on the spot. It's not going to happen. Trust me, it's not going to happen. Unless you're very advanced, then yes. Again, I have to speak for myself. I can't really speak on behalf of everyone because who knows who is who? You never know. But from a very common point of view, let's say we are all very mundane people. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So, but that being said, it does not mean that you have to always wait for a very long time. It also does not mean that. We just generally say that in many lifetimes from now you will gain it. That actually may not be the case with everyone. You may very much in this very lifetime will have that. We could say sooner or later you will have the result. This is a better way of putting that. Instead of we using these words we have in Buddhism, that kalpas after, or like years after, or many, many lifetime later. Those may be true, but it comes under the category of sooner or later. That later could be like much, much later. There may be this, very, very delayed. We actually delay our own enlightenment, don't we? You are supposed to become Buddha in one lifetime. You delay that because of your stupidity. I'm saying my own stupidity. It is very true. Sometimes it's very strange, very funny, the way we act, It's kind of amazing how stupid we could be, actually. It's 100% because of our stupidity that we delay everything. So if you don't want to delay your enlightenment, then you need to do something about yourself. Correct? It is true. No one else can, hold your hand and then like, okay, now I will just, drag you there. That's never going to happen. It's not possible. Why didn't then the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas that dragged us along with them? Did they lack the bodhicitta? They were very This is actually going to say they're very selfish. They only thought of their Buddhahood, didn't think us. It's not true. They did their best, and yet we are here. Actually, who is that? Milarepa? No. I'm becoming more and more absent-minded. I wonder why. I know some reason, but I'm not going to say it out loud. Yes, Shantideva, again, this precious book, Bodhicharyavatara. You want that book. Just keep it under your pillow. Even if you don't read it, just keep it close to your heart. Travel with it. And you get in trouble, just look at it and then the things will be solved. Just like that. Trust me. You may be thinking this monk is very crazy, he's saying crazy stuff. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe not. Milarepa. So what was I saying? Yes, actually, the Shantideva says that same thing that which I said before, that it was Shantideva, and there was somebody else who said that. Okay, he says that you reached enlightenment because of your diligence, and I am still in samsara because of my laziness. That's how I actually says it. It's very true. Laziness okay, it's connected to the stupidity also. All right, so therefore the it's not just about enlightenment. It's actually about everything. We may delay everything in terms of the result of our Dharma practice. This is why I was saying that it's so important to protect this precious, mind, really. Because we are vulnerable, unfortunately. Our mind is very, very vulnerable. So therefore, we are very easily, lured away. We are very easily tricked. Our mind is very easily deceived, just like that. So, yes. So therefore, again, mindfulness. So mindfulness becomes very important to protect that. We don't need to protect so much of our body, though. Okay, you get sick here and there, and for that you have all the medications, all that stuff, all the doctors, they can really help you very well, So we don't need to worry so much about that. And then all you need to do is that, you need to have a good diet, I'm guessing. Yes, have a good discipline from food point of view. You need a good discipline regarding the food. And then that will be very much, that will take care of your good health. At the same time, there is something called karma too. So, right? A lot of things are there. I guess I'm throwing a lot of stuff there. All right. So now, yes, coming back to the Mahamudra teachings and the path. So, from the meditation point of view, then there are these, very special, let's say, we call it 4 kinds of Mahamudra meditation stage. In Tibetan, we call Naljurshi, that actually means 4 types of Mahamudra meditation. Many of you may have heard it. So I thought that, we will sort of touch the base of what are those 4, not today altogether, step by step, because we have still 7 days, so step by step. So what are those 4? The very first one, Mahamudra meditation. The very first one in Tibetan is called Tsechik, meaning one-pointed concentration. And the second one is, in Tibetan, the word is Tu Thol. That means free from conceptualization or fixation. Tuyapatan Thola, okay. Second, right? Third one is Rochik, one taste. And the fourth one is, in Tibetan, Gom Me, no meditation actually. Gom Me, meaning no meditation. Those are the four. From these four, the first one, the first one, which is one-pointed concentration. So today we will brush through that a little bit, and then we will go into the text. I'm spaced out somehow a little bit. I'm very happy and very glad that yesterday we got the loan from Karmapa, the Mahamudra. So now we are all set. Somehow we got it directly from the boss himself. So maybe then that's more than enough. I thought of receiving the loan from Karmapa, but then because of this absent-minded, I forgot altogether. So when I was sitting here, and when we're doing the Chinese mantra, it struck me like, oh, I need to. So I ran actually for the book. Anyway, so I'm very happy, and you all got the loan. Again, right. So the one-pointed concentration, Sechikpa, usually refers to the Shine meditation, is the Tibetan word, calm, abiding, shamatha meditation, correct? So I'm going to, explain that based on third Karmapa's teaching. So here I will read it out, and then we will try to understand that, okay? I know it in Tibetan, but in English I need to read this. This is from third Karmapa's Mahamudra teaching. Waves of gross and subtle thoughts pacified on the spot, remaining in the river of unmoving mind, may we establish immutable oceanic shamatha, free from stains of sinking and fogginess. Correct. Right. It's very, actually it's very deep. Karmapa, third Karmapa Rangjung Dorje, gives this example of ocean and the waves, as you can see that. Waves are the example of thoughts. In general, in Tantra and Vajrayana teachings, and especially in Vajrayana teachings, when we talk about the mind, we talk about, this gross mind. Most of you may know that we talk about three realms. The desire realm, kama dhatu, Sanskrit, I believe it's called kama dhatu. Desire realm is the realm, our realm actually. Within our realm, then we have the 6 cyclic existences, correct? All right? So when we say a very gross mind, it actually means the most gross mind or the mind of the sentient beings who do not have any meditation, especially the shamatha meditation experience. That's why it's called gross mind. This is in comparison, actually, a very gross mind. Then we have, the subtle mind. The subtle minds are the minds of those beings who are in the upper two realm, we call it. That is the form realm, the rupa dhatu, and then formless realm, arupa dhatu. Okay. Now, calm abiding meditation, Shine meditation, when Shine meditation is accomplished for a mundane reason, then the ultimate result of that is not enlightenment, but rather the form, either form realm or formless realm. In the form realm, there are 4 stages. We call the first samadhi stage, second samadhi stage, third, fourth. We're not going to go too much in detail. Again, the level of their mind, because of the meditation experience, is actually grosser and subtle, grosser and subtle. For instance, like our mind is like the most gross mind. When we compare it to the mind of someone who is in the first samadhi stage, the mind of the first samadhi stage is almost feels like liberation, liberated mind compared to my mind. Okay? Now, when he compares his mind, who is on the first samadhi stage, to the second samadhi stage, then the second samadhi stage person, when it looks into the mind of the first one, they find it very gross actually. Because they have, perfected the meditation in such a subtle way. So that's why the more deeper you go into the state of the absorption, meditation absorption, the more subtle it becomes. So now you get the idea of what I'm saying. And then of course the formless is way, way subtle. This I'm just saying in general, just for the sake of understanding that. In the, Tantra is slightly different, but we will not go there. The way we experience meditation, from what I understand, is when we first sit down and meditate, first what's happening is our thoughts, they need time to settle, okay? They need time to settle. We cannot force them to settle. So now you sit in meditation for about 10 minutes, hypothetically speaking. In that 10 minutes, you are giving the time and the space for your thoughts to relax. Now let's say your thought is relaxed, your minds are relaxed, they're rested. When they are rested, this is when you feel the meditation. Even from this very much point of view, like in the Dorje Chang prayer, it says that, meditation is a mind without any distraction, non-distracted state of the mind. So now, therefore, when we meditate, let's say you meditate for you must meditate at least half an hour, okay? There are some steps actually, since I spoke about it, so I may as well then explain it. Now, the first thing that you do in meditation, this is, keeping in mind that you do the meditation as soon as you wake up, let's say in the morning. There's something called, cleaning your air. Actually, we say it, throwing out the stale breath, so to speak. So when we wake up, you sit up straight, have the 7 postures of the meditation, okay, like the way I'm sitting. And then you breathe out, very gently 3 times. In the end, you just throw it a bit longer. This is to say that now I have cleansed my channels, actually. Okay? And therefore, I have cleansed my wind because my mind, oops. Okay, and now it's connected with, again, a little bit with Vajrayana. My mind is riding the wind, right? The most subtle wind. So therefore, when the channel, the reason you need to sit very straight upright, especially the back upright, like they say, like an arrow, straight up like an arrow, is to really, conduct our channels in a very proper manner so that the wind that passes through can pass very gently, very smooth, very clearly, so that you can experience your own awareness. Let's put it this way, too much talk. Generally says then, when you conduct yourself, your channels in the most proper way, then the winds become very clear, very peaceful. And because of that, then the mind that is riding that wind experiences clarity and concentration. This is the reason for that. So anyhow, that was when you throw it out. Now coming back to the meditation. So let's say it says that let you meditate for about 30 minutes. It's not in 30 minutes, you will have many sessions. You do not stand up and go. Let's say you meditate for the, 5 minutes, or maybe less, 2 minutes. In that, you may lose the object of your meditation. It's very natural. Sometimes you lose it just like that in a sec. So then you again re-enter, refocus. Let's say you concentrate again. You may lose it as you concentrate it. Okay? These are normal, actually. So you keep doing that. Don't stress out yourselves. You need to be very flexible. Yes. So then again, you meditate. Try to concentrate. So this is what you will be repeating in this 30 minutes, okay? As the days go by, you will see that your duration of your meditation will slowly improve from 1 second to 2 seconds of meditation. It's not going to be like 1 hour, actually, it's never going to be that way. I'm sorry, not never. In the initial stage, it's not going to be that way. But improvement will come along. That's just very natural. Like we say, practice brings about perfection. We all know that. So why not practice? It's as simple as that. But you need to do meditation for about 30 minutes. All right. So now again, here, when Karmapa says that, our thoughts, emotions are like these waves, I think, we have this tide, low tide, high tide. Am I saying it right? Actually, I kind of keep hearing this because being from California, I don't really surf, but I have friends who surf. So I hang around with them, just go. So I keep hearing these words. So I'm just using it, not really knowing what I'm saying, but I guess it's all fine. But it's actually a good example. You need that, low tide and high tide. It's all about that. Thoughts are like this. There is undercurrent, actually tide too, right? It's underneath there, and then it comes up. It's a very good example. Sometimes you have no clue that there's underlying emotion, underlying thought that you have not at all noticed. Now you meditate and you have a good meditation experience, it clicks to you. Wow, there is this underlying emotion or thought. Correct? Recognition comes around like that. That's how we slowly and gradually gain more and more insight into our own mind. Mahamudra is all about looking into your own mind. It's all about knowing your mind, the reality of your mind, the bluff of your mind. It's all a big bluff, actually. It's very true. Everything is a bluff. It's nice. I like it. It's very true. Like, everything. Again, I may say many things. Perhaps what I'm saying, I'm losing my track, but perhaps what I'm saying is that we really need to learn to be more flexible in your life. Okay, don't be too stiff. Don't be too one-pointed person. It's actually not good for the health or for the mind, actually. Meaning like, don't be too serious. Because seriousness is not going to bring you the result. Seriousness is not going to bring you the success. I mean, if that will bring you the success, everyone will be very successful. So don't be too serious about life or emotions, because at the end of the day, it's just a bluff. If we understood it's a bluff, it's wonderful, no, actually. Why care at all? So that means we care. Why? Because we don't understand that it's just a bluff. My mind is bluffing to my own mind, and I get caught up. Bluff after bluff after bluff. I'm like in this net of the bluff. So now you have this Vajra-like samadhi, Vajra-like wisdom. You cut through those bluffs, and you see the bluff, then you play with the bluff. Correct? I'm not making this up. That's what all the Mahasiddhas say. Play of the mind. They are like when you see the play of the mind, the bluff of the mind, they are like, wow, this is crazy. And yet, very amazing, actually. It's really amazing from that point of view. They come from nowhere, they go nowhere, and yet here they are. Okay, where do they come from? Where do they go? Do they have a home? Okay, I need to come back to this thing. It's all one big samsara, but it's one big bluff. Bluff is a good word, I'm thinking, because it doesn't sound very bad, I should say. Sounds normal. All right, so now coming back to one-pointed concentration, Tsechik. There are other examples, actually. For example, okay, so now sticking to the ocean and the waves. The actual meditation experience of the calm abiding meditation is gained, in our realm, in desire realm, only after attaining the 9th mental abiding. And then that will lead you to the first samadhi stage. That's the actual, time when an actual calm abiding meditation is born within oneself. All right, so, okay. Now, I actually need to teach something from the book too. All right, so now I'm going to read from that. So before we go into the book, you have to remind me tomorrow that I'm going to continue with this teaching on the little bit on this topic, okay? Karma body meditation. Anyway, I guess I will remember. So, all right. So you may be very eager, to go through this text thinking that what may be there. So, okay, let's find out what is there for you or for me. I'm reading both in English and in Tibetan, okay? Gyagaraketu Mahamudra Upadesha Peketu Chagchen Menga Pal Dorje Kandola Chakselo. In Sanskrit, the title is Mahamudra Upadesh. In Tibetan it is Chagya Chempe Menga. I should be able to read that, but I think Mahamudra instructions. Prostration to Shri Vajradakini Dorje Kanduma. All right. From what I Updesh, we have in Tibetan we have Menga, Damga. These are the word for that. Updesh. Pit instruction. I guess you use the pit instruction. So the pit meaning, according to the Mahamudra teachings and other teachings, when we say pit instruction Menga, in my opinion, it is actually, there is this term in Tibetan, in the Vajrayana teachings and in the Mahamudra teachings, we call it whispering into the ear actually. It means one-on-one teaching. It's not, the teaching's not given to a crowd of people. It's always like, for example, Telokpa gave this teaching to Naropa one-on-one. And we have this Nyinju, meaning the lineage of the whispering into the air. So I guess, I don't think they really like whisper, but it means they kept it quite secretly. This is because they need to know that the individual to whom they are passing on this instruction is capable of absorbing, understanding, and is capable of, gaining the realization they are supposed to gain on the spot, correct? So this is why the pit instruction, Menga and Damga, so Upadesh. Now, the homage is to the Vajradakini in general. One reason is because, like from the story of this, as we understand, one source of Mahamudra teaching are the Jana Dakinis. We call Yeshij Kanduma. There are many Kandumas, the Dakinis. From what I remember very vaguely, now during the times of the great Mahasiddhas, I think the Mahasiddhas, most of the Mahasiddhas came around only after the peak of their time was 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th century, actually. I'm thinking from that point of view. But before that, Saraha, anyhow. But the peak when all this, Mahasiddha came around was those times. So, all right. And then one of the most well-known place is Odiyana. It says Odiyana, like I mentioned. In Tibetan, we call Ujin. Ujin. Maybe it is a corrupt translation of an Indian word. Odiyana is what I understood. So it's somewhere in Pakistan or Afghanistan or Pakistan, Swat Valley. Anyhow, I'm not exactly sure. But back in time, this used to be the hangout place for all the Mahasiddhas. Everybody's there hanging out, debating among themselves. And then this very famous king, Indrabhuti, right? King Indrabhuti, who is connected to Guru Pema Sambhava. all of them. Now, and then there were this many Janadakinis as well. And many of the Mahasiddhas received these pith instructions from those Janadakinis, the Buddhist, the female Mahasiddhas actually, the female Mahasiddhas, like Niguma. There are many actually. Yes, there are many of them anyway. So this is why the Vajradakini, from that point of view, is paying homage to him because source of the realization. Right, I think that's enough. Okay. Kawa Cheching Lama Lakupa Dungal Zoden Zden Loden Naropa Kalden Church Lolanditar Chur. Here it's almost like the life story of Naropa, as well as the qualities of the Naropa are actually mentioned. And this is Tilopa praising Naropa's, quality. For example, the very first one is, Naropa, who is, I have to read it in English, I guess. Intelligent Naropa, you who have undergone austerity, bearing suffering with devotion to the Guru, fortunate one, pay attention to this. So yes, okay, the very first one, like I was saying yesterday and the day before, in Vajrayana are two things, Dompa and Tamsik. Dompa, the commitment, the Vajrayana vow, and Tamsik, the Samaya, correct? Samaya, the bond. And the ground of that, excuse me, the ground of that is really Mukhe. In Tibetan, we have the word called Mepa and Kupa Mukhe. So in English, I'm always saying devotion, I'm used to that. Those people who are very new, maybe this word is not, relatable, or maybe not a good one for some of you. So you have to, pardon me for that. But that's the word we have. But in Tibetan, it's mukhe, and it's very strong. To mepa and kepa. Mepa is really, enthusiasm. Kepa is respect. So it's a quality, very profound quality of great respect and great enthusiasm, towards the Guru. So, towards the Dharma, towards the path, Mukhi. That we know very much. And then also from the life story of Naropa, we know that he really is, why he's saying Naropa himself was actually very learned. He was one of the main Khenpo scholar in the Nalanda Institute, as many of you may know that. And he was also, the main teacher of the Vikramashila as well, so along with Atisha and many of them. So that here when he says intelligent, it doesn't really say much. It actually means Tilopa, who is highly learned. Tilopa, who is highly accomplished in the fields of knowledge, actually. Basically, that's what it meant. And at the same time, we know, his endurance with regard to the hardship that he had to go through, that Tilopa put him through. But this we can't really go through. There's a very long story. As we know, Tilopa really put him through so many difficult, challenging, tasks. Many of them, like 12, altogether 24. But there was no one moment, 1 second where he lost his trust in the Guru. From the ordinary eye's point of view, he tortured Naropa to death. Naropa died many times, literally, right? So to speak. Like this time when he says that if I had a student who is very, very devoted to me, he will jump from this cliff. Naropa look around, it's like only him. It's like, there's nobody else. He's talking to me, he jumped. Every single bone in him was broken. And then Tilopa goes to him and asks, how are you doing? I mean, that's really unfair, no, actually, to say that. Like, what do you mean by what I'm doing? I jumped. Every bone in me is broken. So Naropa says, oh, I'm almost dead. It's like, don't worry, you're going to be fine. Anyway, there are many things like this. So one time when he was crossing somewhere, there were all these, what do you call that, leeches? Is it leech or leech? Leeches are also some fruit, no? One that sucks your blood. Leech? Also leech? Wow. It's not the sweet leech, but it's the one that sucks your blood. It's full of that. Again, Tilopa says, oh, if I had a student, he will make a bridge for me. And he looks around, it's him. So Naropa lies down on there, and his blood is sucked up by hundreds of those leeches. He walks, he says, you stay here until I come back. For many days, things like that actually. There are many stories like this. One day, yes, Naropa says that, Tilopa says, oh, I'm really hungry. There were some people having picnic, I'm guessing. So go down there and, get some food from them. Naropa, as usual, obeys him. He brings the food. And then Tilopa goes to them and says, hey, look, that guy stole your food. They all come up and beat him to death. And Tilopa's like, oh, how are you doing? This word in Tibetan, I don't think it's true. Naro, we say things like this. It's related with that. He said, I'm almost dead. Things like this. So now the Zopa here is patience, but this, resilience, right, is a better word actually. This resilience, but his mind was never shaken at all. It is actually the same story with who? With Milarepa too. Now we all know that. This guy, they do that, I'm guessing. The Marpa did the same thing to Milarepa, we all know, very famous. Somehow it's a tradition. In our Kaju lineage, it's tradition. Since we didn't go through that, maybe we are not yet, ripe. So we have to go through these 12 hardships, 24 hardships. We need to be tortured to death, and you are not allowed to die. The thing is, you're not allowed to die. How am I supposed to do that, It's very crazy, actually. So crazy, but the teacher has this confidence is not going to die. Tilopa 100% knew he's not going to die. Same with Marpa too. So patience. Now you can see, is therefore now, here, Tilopa is saying very nice things to compensate, I'm guessing, Now he's saying, hey, you, Tilopa, although I really tortured you, but you didn't mind it. You went through a lot of pain, a lot of challenges, but you made it through. And it is true, he did make it through, so you made it through. It's like, congratulations. So now I'm going to give you some talk. You must listen very carefully. It's also his life story too. So the word kalden is very important actually in Tibetan. Fortunate one, kalpada dempa. That again, very important. Don't worry, we'll finish this text, okay? We can just brush through it in the form of rains of blessings. We got the blessing of Kamapa, so we are actually all set. Yes, because then, like I was saying earlier on, in order to receive any of the teachings of, especially with the Vajrayana Mahamudra, you need to be the Kalden, meaning the fortunate one. Not from luck point of view. It's got nothing to do with the luck. Okay, it doesn't mean you lucky one from that point of view. This is what I said a little bit earlier on. One who has all the seed, and the seeds also must be all set to ripe. So there's a time frame. You have the seed, and they are all set to ripe. You have all the conditions. It's like really on harvest. Exactly like this. Then you become, all you need is a simple condition. That's it. That's what Tilopa did. That's what Milarepa did. That's what Marpa did. Like we say, it just snapped. And then, boom, the realization came around. It's how we say it. Very much possible. Because you are all set. You got everything you need to become a Buddha. All you need was that one single outer condition in the form of the Lama. A word, a sign, a mudra. That's why the mudra, a sign. That's it, a word. All you need is a word, a sound. So the timing has to be very, very right, actually. Everything comes together. That's what Kalden means. So, anyhow, it says, so you hold it. I'm giving you this teaching. The Mahamudra lineage, in our Kagyu lineage, the Mahamudra that we talk about, this teaching actually is the source of the Mahamudra, okay? Just saying. There are few, like Saraha, but this one is one that's in the Tenjur, actually. Anyways. And we are all also Kalden from that point of view. From the point of view that we are all in the presence of Kamapa, in the presence of the lineage lamas, we're connected to the lineage. That goes to prove that there is a seed somewhere in your heart, somewhere in your mind. You do not want to lose that. So please come again and again and again, but don't bother us. I'm kidding, you know that. You're always welcome. The doors are open for you all the time along the all year, all month. Please come in summer when it's very crazy here, everything, and then you will know. Okay, jokes apart, but no, you're welcome. Doors are open. It's not a joke. It's all open. Our heart, our mind is all open for you. Come and take. It's crazy stuff. If you can, it's like Catch Me If You Can, that movie. Oh, it's okay. I like movies a lot, actually. No, really, I love movies. Anyway, so it's not about movie, it's about Mahamudra. So it could be like Shakespeare says, Kamapa mentioned yesterday, Shakespeare says, many great Indian masters says that, life is like a play. It's just a drama. So that's why I said it's a bluff. It's the same thing. Shakespeare says, it's really, a drama. There's that, anyways. Very wise people, be it, I don't know if Shakespeare is real or not, but I read his books and I found them very interesting. I read many of those books. Really was very interesting to me, especially the karma part, all that. And then some other books also. what are we missing is, apart from Dharma, ancient wisdom. We need to go back in time and replace this AI and all that stuff with ancient wisdom. We're lacking that. I'm saying we need to go back to the root. Okay? AI, BI, CI is not the root, actually. How can machine be our root? It's so very crazy to say machine is my root. Anyways, nothing I can do about it. I can't fight with Mr. Elon Musk or whoever is that. So all I can do is that ignore it. Absolutely ignore it. Anyways, it's again mundane stuff. I'm talking some mundane stuff. But I was saying something, no? So I came to this, right? We're all, from that point of view, really, there is a connection. It's very individual, though, really, how you are connected to the lineage, all that. But one can always plant the seed again and again. The reason I was asking all of you to try your best to really, connect with the lineage as much as you can is for that, actually. Really. It's not so much about gaining a particular realization or this or that, but it is really about strengthening, stabilizing, our future. Okay? So really, we're stabilizing our future. You must know that. You will have much greater life from this point of view. I'm very sure, much greater life. And much greater and greater and greater life. So you need to establish that. It's also establishing our future life, establishing our path, go hand in hand. Can you see that? It goes hand in hand. So therefore, connection to the lineage is very important. Not just to one person, but to the lineage, to the teachings of the Tilopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa. It's not from a person's point of view. You don't have to be around Karmapa 24/7. That actually is not also a good idea at all. He will get fed up of you, you will get fed up of him. So why do that, Must always keep a distance. Always keep a distance. From a distance, you experience devotion, you trust, but from a distance. Don't go too close. Not a good idea. Really not a good idea. We should not take our lamas and, like somebody like Kamapa and all these others, like celebrities, fan. It's not a fan club. Please don't think like that, For those, then you can do whatever you want, but it's not at all. From a distance, to keep your samaya intact, to keep your commitment intact. You watch from a distance. Never lose your trust. Again, the trust is in the teachings, okay? In the teaching, in the practice, in the lineage, from all the way to the Vajradhara. Not this karmapa, not that karmapa, not this, not that. It's this bond of wisdom, knowledge, meditation. It's got nothing to do with physical appearance at all. It's nothing got to do with, being close to someone physically. What you're going to do, actually. Okay, you can have a cup of tea together. What's the big deal with that? You can also have a cup of tea anywhere in the world. What's so big deal of having a cup with Kamapa from, It's not big deal at all. But the teaching is different. All this is different. We need the teaching, the wisdom, the realization. I'm saying too much, I guess, on these things. I'm just reminding myself, saying it out loud, and you are hearing it, okay? Please know that I'm saying it to myself out loud, and you just happen to hear it. Did I finish this line or not? Yes, I did. All right. I think so. I need to give some time for the questions. So if you have some simple questions, I may take it. But if you have some very profound questions, we can direct that to come up later in the evening. You have to keep in mind, okay, so please, you feel free to ask questions.
If you have a question, please raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Good morning. I have a question regarding spirit. Yesterday we spoke about spirit. Now in France, many people, let's say a woman, she loses her child. Okay, so she will go see what we call a medium, and the medium will tell the person something that the child used to do, or she will point out something to that the child had. And then she will tell the lady that everything is fine and the child is good. It's like if the medium, she has a vision. She can talk about the disease. I want to know what is your point of view about that in Buddhism.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's very interesting question, actually. I think there is, some link between that, the medium, like we have this television show. One is what called whisperer, no? Anyways, that doesn't matter, the medium. There is some, some link I would like to believe, because also I heard that there are many people who have this, we call it divine eye or clairvoyance. People with divine eye could see the spirits, they could even communicate with them. In India, it's very big. In Tibet, also, it's very big. And I've heard many stories from Khenpo, from many others. There was also somebody in Rumtek who even 16 Karmapa used to consult with, So there are people who have this special, let's say, quality of or quality to interact with the spirits. So that exists. So I'm guessing it's really, it is, the spirit is a real thing. It's a real thing. So therefore, they are sentient being without any doubt. Like, from the stories of these people, some of them would come to, let's say, great bodhisattvas and take refuge, ask for refuge. This is one thing. And then they would accept it, saying that if you behave, if you promise you behave, then yes, we will, take care of you. So this is about the food and the tormas and all that. We call them the worldly dharmapalas. Okay. And then everyone do not have to be dharmapala because sometimes Nagarjuna or Chandrakirti, I mix up. I think it's Nagarjuna. I'm sorry. When Nagarjuna was in Nalanda Institute, and he was one of the main Khenpo, appointed by Saraha, he met with this non-human, let's not say spirit, let's say non-human being. So it's a being who's non-human. And then Nagarjuna ordered him or her, saying that, you will provide food to these monks until, what did he do? Nagarjuna have to remember, Nagarjuna, either he made this wooden pole or pillar or a statue. I'm sorry, one of that. He put it in the ground. He says, until this is, disappears or destroyed, you will remain here and you will protect and provide, provisions to the monastery. So such thing actually exists from all the time, so to speak. So yes, it's these are very common, I'm guessing. It's not only a Buddhist thing, correct? It's not just a Buddhist thing. Of course, in India, they talk a lot about that. I'm guessing in the West, you may have your own story regarding non-humans. In Tibetan, we have Mimai. Mimai meaning non-humans. Non-human being. Okay, if I say non-human, okay. Non-human beings. Was that your question, or I said entirely something very different? Because okay, thank you.
You started briefly talking about devotion.
Right.
And I want to ask you to tell more about how a student can develop strong devotion to the Guru.
Okay.
Thank you.
One of the, so there are two kinds of trust, right? When we talk about Tepa in Tibetan, one word is Tepa, correct? So there are three qualities. It's a state of a mind with these three wonderful qualities. First of all, the devotion, then I'll tell, okay? For example, the first one is Tepa, which means trust. Second quality is Depa. Depa is, longing. And the third one is, aspiration. In Tibetan, we call Tangwa. Tangwa meaning pure, actually. So you can say aspiration and aspiration. So when I say devotion, it's this, actually. The trust, the longing, and the aspiration, the state of our mind. The way we can generate that is quite simple to understand. Simple because all we need to, when we come to know the benefit of certain things, when we come to know the quality of certain things, as a person, you trust in a person, you need to know the person very well, right? Person's quality, let's say. What kind of human being he or she is. When you come to know that he or she is a very good human being, then a trust is born. This is born because you have knowledge regarding the object. Likewise, in the Dharma, in the Buddha, in the Sangha, when we learn, reflect, meditate about the Dharma, and then when you gain this knowledge, this realization, knowledge, realization in you regarding the Dharma become the ground for your trust. Your trust deepen. Also same with the person. Let's say a person, in a person, when you get to know that person, and then when you come to know what kind of person, as a teacher, he or she is, from their behavior point of view, from their viewpoint of view, and then, accordingly you will have that, feeling regarding that individual. It can be trust or it can be distrust. So the point is, like we say, you need to really know the person. Generally, we always say that we are told that we need to read the life stories of our founding fathers. So when you read the life stories of these, let's say the Mahasiddhas, that will become the source of our devotion. And then of course, the life story of the Mahasiddhas is not just a life story. Actually, their life story is all about their realization, their path, their view. When you look at that, it's not like our life story. There's nothing much interesting about that. But it's life story of Namthar in Tibetan. The word is very interesting, Nampra Tarwa. It actually means liberation. Like, Nampra Tarwa. Absolute liberation, perhaps. So perhaps we can say that, by knowing the life story of great beings, Mahasiddhas, will help us to gain liberation, So anyway, it means life story of that. So these are the ways to, to experience the devotion. But then at the same time, there's also a devotion, common devotion. I like that too. We usually say devotion that you gain through your knowledge. It's one I explained already. But then there's another kind of devotion, we call it the blind devotion, faith, the two of them. Both actually works. The devotion with a trust, devotion or trust with knowledge is good, yes. But sometimes when you become too intellectual, it actually may ruin your trust. Like I was saying early on, oftentimes when you become yourself somebody, you learn something, you get to know something, and then your ego kicks in. When your ego kicks in, then you start doubting your teacher. Or you start thinking that, I know better than him, or better than them. So you're on that knowledge. There are many examples of some Mahasiddhas that happened with them. So we need to be careful with this actually, a little bit. But nonetheless, this is good. Both must go hand in hand. I would say, of course, when you experience something with your knowledge, with your wisdom, then it is very deep, very profound, will be very rooted. no doubt about that. And then when you experience something based on your other devotion, it is good. It may not be as profound since it does not, entail the perfect realization, so to speak. Yeah, I think we start with, just a simple devotion, correct? Sometimes you just trust. There is no reason. Okay, how's that? I don't need a reason to trust sometimes. Sometimes you may need a reason to trust. It depends, I'm thinking, correct? I'm just saying something in general. Sometimes, really, I don't need a reason to trust. So you just trust. So you never know how, where, when that feeling of trust in you will kick in. Just out of the blue, it can be just out of the blue. All right, so now we see the dedication. Sunam de tam che zipa nye to na nye pe da na che ga na che ba la ye tu pa ye se ban zo le do wa re shu ge wan de ye ki wo ye ke sunam ye che cho zo sunam ye che le chung wa tam ba ke nye to ba re shu Minjura lombo kuye tashi sho yen la ye tuk cho sungye tashi sho tada ye teme tuje tashi sho gyalwe ko son tuje tashi sho. Thank you. Have a very good lunch, and don't forget that you have something called Sojong Wow. When you take a vow, correct? Then you must also make a point that you keep it to the best of your ability. Really, anything. When you promise something, then you must, keep up that promise. Then benefit will come around. Likewise, you take Sojong Vow, then you must really keep it up to the T, as we say. Like yesterday Kamapo said, it's very true. You really have 8, components. Just remember them, keep them. That's pretty much it. But you need to be mindful that I have Sojong Vow, I need to behave also. We all must behave, okay? It's not about not eating, not drinking. It's also about behaving good. So be mindful of your behavior around people, around here. It's good for you. I'm not being very strict at all. But if you want to be good, why not be good very sincerely, very honestly? Correct? Really, be good. Really be good. Do something, do it properly, do it completely, do it with honesty, sincerity. Correct? In life, in Dharma, same thing. Okay, thank you.